Hi guys, it's Rose. How are you all doing today? I am doing my 3 ways video today for you, and today I have chosen to work with Inka Gold. As you can see, I only have 3 Inka Golds. They come in lots of different colours. I would love to have more actually. I must just have a look and maybe purchase 1 or 2 more. So I have the old silver, gold and old gold. Now the one I use most out of these is the old gold. It's just a nicer, richer tone for the vintage journals that I do, but I love the old silver one as well. And this one, it gives a nice kind of light, delicate feel when you use the gold one. So those are the 3 that I have. So I'm going to show you 3 ways that I use them anyway in my journals. And the first one I'm going to show you is fairly typical. Here I have an embossed piece of card. You can see that. It's just a record card. It was just the right size for the embossing folder that I decided to use for this demo. So normally when you get Inka Gold, it is quite creamy in the tubs. But as it gets older, it can dry out a bit. Now, this plain gold one, just the regular gold one, is nice and creamy still. So I'm going to use this one here, and I'll show you some other things to do with the ones that have dried out, or maybe not even dried out, but we'll use the other ones. So I'm just going to tap most of this off, and just get a little bit on my finger, not too much at all. And I'm just going to very, very lightly rub over the top of that. Now this, like I said, is a typical use for Inka Gold. So you may have seen it before, but I just wanted, if there was any newbies out there, I wanted them to see this. And like I said, this is one of the ways that I use Inka Gold in my journals. So I'm just going to keep rubbing very small amounts until we get the depth of colour that we want. And we're rubbing very, very lightly across the top of that, so that we're not pushing our finger down onto the lower parts of the design. Now you will get a certain amount of colour down there. That's inevitable when you're using your finger. Your finger is a soft surface, but you can contain it to mostly the raised areas, and that is what we're trying to achieve. So I hope you can see this. Just going to try and get another little bit on this flower just to make it a little more even. See, and this is drying up now already because I'm spreading it out very thinly on the glass mat there. But I hope you can see it picks up the raised areas and leaves little to no colour on the lower areas. This actually looks really, really good on tea stained or coffee stained paper, which is what I mostly use anyway. So that is one thing. It just gives a nice finish, like a distressed gilded finish to a piece of embossing. Okay, so that is that one. Now the second technique, it is similar enough, I suppose, in one sense, but quite different as well. And I'm just going to use a sheet of white paper here and a stencil. Now bear in mind, my stenciling abilities are not fantastic, okay? I'm going to zoom you guys in as well a little. I'm not the best with stencils, but I'll do my best, and I do use them in my journals. So we have this Inka Gold beside me that I was using. I'm actually going to use that one again for this. Will I? No. We'll use the other one. I'll zoom you out there for a second and I'll show you. I have a blob of Inka Gold down here on my mat, and it's always there. I use it all the time. And I would normally use a, where's it gone to? One of these water brushes with just to wet that, but this one has blue ink in it for some reason. I can't remember why. And I was just about to say I couldn't find my other one, but I just found it. Yay! So all I do is drop a little bit of that onto my little dried up bit of Inka Gold. And I'm just going to rub it so that it is creamy, not watery, but creamy. Now this has gone quite watery because I put too much water down, but that's okay. I'm going to keep mixing it with the blob until it comes up creamy. And that's one thing that you need to be aware of with Inka Gold. It is water soluble. Just to be aware of that. And you'll actually get more use out of it, I think, knowing that. Another thing is, don't stick your fingers into the pot. If you're taking some out of the pot, I recommend using a tool, because it can actually get very mouldy inside in the pot from bacteria on your hands and things. Some people find that it doesn't, other people find that it does. I tend to err on the side of caution and not put my fingers in there. So zoom me back in for this piece. Okay, so you've got a nice close up there of my stencil, and all I'm going to do is just rub over the stencil. Now you'll have to rub a little bit harder with your finger to get into all the crevices. And you should be very, very careful to not let the stencil move, especially if it's any little bit watery. Be very, very careful with not allowing your stencil to move. So I'm just going to do that little bit to show you. And there you have it. So because it was a little bit watery, not too bad. It kind of built up around the edges where the stencil was, and it gave little ridges, but I quite like that. I think it gives a nice effect, something different. And while that doesn't seem very shiny right now, once that dries, you can actually buff this stuff and shine it up again. So that is another way to use it. I'm just going to put this back down and do another little bit over here. And I might actually use up that that other gold that we put out on the mat, just to get it used up. Let's see, where's my water? Try for a little less water this time. Inka Gold is actually one of my favourite products. I just love the look of it and what it can add. I often use it just to edge a card. I make it a little bit creamy like this, and I just run my finger along the edge of a card, which I'll show you on the other one there in a second. A little bonus, maybe a fourth way, because I have something else up my sleeve. Just going to get all this stuff down here, because I can use this as a collage piece or something afterwards, if I so desire. And being that I'll be using it like that, it doesn't even have to be perfect. Ta-da! Oh, that's really messy. I made a bad job of that. But hey ho, it can still be used. There are some nice areas down here. Anyway, just be aware that it can't be very, you can't have it very sticky. I'm actually just going to take a little bit out of the pot to show you. Now I know I said I don't stick my fingers in the pot. This is a rare exception that I'm doing it. And it's only really just for your sake. So there. Oh. Oopsie. I just almost got that everywhere. Okay. I just took out a big gunk of it. Oh well, it can stay on my desk. Let's just try it straight out of the pot without the water. There we go, see? Nice and creamy. Et voila. Beautiful. And that one is appearing more shiny because, can you see? There we go. Very pretty. Nice when it dries as well. It dries lovely. Okay. So that's those two. And the last one I wanted to show you, I'm actually going to use the other side of this page. And this was something I just tried a long time ago and it worked really well for me and I love using it. I'm going to zoom you back out there. Sorry, you're looking at a big white screen. Here's my mess. Anyway, so what I've done, I have taken some of this. I actually have used all three of them for this, but the one I'm using right now is the old silver one. And I just got a little spray bottle and I put some water in there and I put some of the Inka Gold into it, just scooped it out with one of these guys, palette knife, into the bottle, and I put a bead in the bottom of it just so that I'd be able to agitate the mixture and get it all mixed up because it does settle. And mix it to whatever kind of consistency you want, whether you want it very, very lightly misting with an iridescent kind of, not iridescent, what's the pearlescent sheen on your papers or whatever. You can make it quite watery, or if you want more colour in it, just add a little bit more of the Inka Gold and it comes out really lovely. Now, now you can buy these little spray bottles on Amazon and things. Now that may not look like much there. I don't know, can you see the sheen on that? It is very beautiful once it dries. This particular colour is gorgeous anyway. But you can use them as sprays. So I use them quite a lot like that as well. And I've looked through journals where I've used this technique and when I come across these pages I'm always saying, oh, so pretty. So it's definitely one that I like. So there you have it, 4 ways to use Inka Gold in your journals. I hope that inspires somebody or helps out some newbies if they have this stuff in their stash and they're not sure what to do with it. There's some ideas for you, and you know, it helps with layering techniques as well, like with the embossing. It's a way to enhance your embossing if you use embossing in your journals. So, you know, it's quite nice to use with different techniques as well. Okay guys, so that's it for today, and I shall be back soon, hopefully. And yeah, I'll talk to you then. Bye. Hey guys, I'm back just because I realised that I've got to show you the edging of the card with the Inka Gold. Since I actually turned off the camera the last time, I have sprayed this with some turquoise spray. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, so that's why it looks different. I was messing around with some sprays. Now my Inka Gold that's on my mat here is slightly after drying out, so I am going to add some water. I'm so sorry that I forgot to show you this. So I got it quite watery there. It can work watery or it can work more creamy. It's entirely up to yourself and your own preference. So all I do is I get some on my finger. It's quite watery, like I said, and just go around the edges. Now you can smudge it, or you can leave it as a nice kind of thin line. It's up to you. And you just go around the edges of your card, and it can give a nice little extra finishing touch to something. One thing I will say about Inka Gold, I haven't tried it on fabric, which I really should do. I'd imagine that, I mean, it's essentially a paint, so any kind of fabrics that paint would work on, I can imagine that Inka Gold would work on too. I'm just going to round that a little bit there, smudge it up a little. And it's very quick to do, and it's actually dry fairly fast as well, I have to say, because you're putting it on so thin. You're not putting on big globs of it, that it dries fairly quickly too. So there you have it, nice edged finish on a journal card. Okay, so I'm gone this time. Bye.